Hey, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to do a quick week 12 Zepbound update. Last week I weighed in at 312.6 and this week I weighed in at 310.6. I lost 2 pounds, which I think is just great. I didn't make my goal of 3 pounds. I wanted to get down in the 309.9 range, but it didn't happen this week, but hopefully it'll happen next week. And throughout my years, I've learned that sometimes you're going to be really, really motivated, and that motivation is going to go up and down. And when you go down, you just got to find a way to make it go back up. And that just doesn't apply to, a weight loss journey. That applies to everything. Your hobbies, like sometimes mine's photography. Sometimes I take a lot of pictures, sometimes I don't. Your job can be up and down. Any kind of hobby can be up and down. Your whole life can be just up and down. And when you're finding yourself in kind of a low point, you got to make sure that you're finding a way to quickly go on the upswing. And that's where I find myself this week. I'm out here working out, trying to get a jump start on the week to come. And I kind of want to share a couple of thoughts with you in this week's video. And one of the things that I've been struggling with ever since I started Zepbound, and that's portion control. And particularly when I go out to restaurants, what I order. Because if you're like me, if you're a bigger person, you probably have done this too, but when you're looking through that menu, you start kind of calculating, how much food that's going to be with each, menu item. And you try to maximize that, if you know what I'm talking about. And I still do that from time to time. Like I still try to order as much food as I did before I started the weight loss journey. I'm like, oh man, you just kind of get this thing going in your head where you're scared you're not gonna have enough food. And I still order, like I say, order what I used to order as much food as I used to order. And truthfully, to be honest with you, with the Zepbound, I don't need to order nearly as much as I used to. And so maybe in the future, you're going out to eat, just look for smaller portion size. Sometimes they have a lot menu or, just smaller portions. And because if you're like me, whatever they bring you, you're pretty much going to eat it all, unfortunately. That's just kind of the way it is. And even at home, I do this too. Like I've been eating off the same plate since we got married 21 years ago. And when I pick up that plate, when we're eating dinner and I pick up that plate or loading up my plate, I know how much food it takes to get me full. And I'm still going off the old me, So I really have to pay attention to what I'm doing as far as portion control. And that's one thing that's really been hard for me to adjust to. So another story I want to tell is about the mind control part of portion of this drug. Like a lot of people talk about turning off the food noise, and that's a good description of it. But unless you know what that is, it's kind of hard to describe. But I did have something pop up this week that I think helps describe that. It's about the best I can. So I was going to the trash can and pitching some trash away in the trash can. Looked up in the pantry there, and there's a bag of chips, Tostitos, and it was about 3/4 full. And I estimated that bag is 3 to 4 weeks has been sitting in our pantry. I'm guessing before I started Zepbound, a bag of Tostitos in my pantry would have lasted a week or less, I'm guessing. And I haven't touched it. I honestly have not touched that bag of Tostitos. And that's what the medication does for you. It just gets to where you just don't think about snacking. You just don't. It doesn't even cross my mind to go in there and grab a handful of chips like I used to. It just doesn't even cross my mind. And that's one part of this medication that doesn't get talked about a lot. Yeah, it does make you feel full. But cutting off the food noise, to me, is just a much more powerful aspect of the medication. And unless you know It's hard to explain, but I thought this example demonstrated it pretty well. So 2 pounds this week. I wish it could have been more. I'm not going to lie, but there's not much you can do about it. Just keep on pushing through. Get back in the gym, start lifting weights, hit the treadmill, all that good stuff. Next week should be just fine. And maybe, just maybe, I'll be down in the single 300s next week, which would be awesome. So that's all you can really do. Just keep pushing through, and it'll all be worth it when you get to the other side. So hope this video helped you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.